Okay, this is a quick rundown on how to configure the V570 with 3 analog tank inputs. You would open a new project and then you work your way down this the tree on the left side. So the first thing you do is hardware configuration, and you select the model of PLC HMI you have. In this case, it'd be this 570. So we pick it, and it pops it into this box. If it were a Samba, you would pick from this list, and then you pick the snap-in I/O, which is on the back of the PLC. There's a model number for this unit that snaps on, that accepts your I/O. So we pull that from here. This particular model selected this, and I said OK to it, and it loaded it. Loaded it to the tree. To here, and when you pick that one, it pops this other window up. So you have this is where you configure inputs or outputs, or this particular one we're looking for analog inputs. So these would these are all blank. This was blank when I started, so it did have 0, 1, 2, and you go select your input type. So it's a 4 to 20 transmitter, and in here you pick the variable you want to tie to it. So an integer, memory operand type of memory integer, and then you have option of a long integer or double word, just depending on what you need. But typically MI will work. And first available, it picks the first one, so it was MI 0. On the subsequent ones, you click this, it takes just the next available number. So it's why I picked 0, 1, and 2, and you put some type of description out here, and you just say OK to that. So all those were set up in that fashion, created the 3, and pretty much done with hardware configuration. So if there were ladder components of it, you would go into here. This is where you have your normal coils and ladder rungs, so bits, normally open, normally closed, contacts. That's where you would do that. And this one, we're not even, there's no ladder. We're just going to use this as a display. So we'll move our way on down from ladder to HMI, and these are where you build the screens. And this is just the current screen that's up. If you want to add more screens, you're always able to add more. Right here, say add new module, add new display, and it creates more screens. So there's a new one. So we'll go to this one we started with here, and the first thing we would do would be to drag over a numeric value that we want to display. So took this and then came out and created a box for it. And when we do that, it's you set it up. What do we want to display in that numeric value? These would be empty, so you would go and select the MI, the integer values that are coming from the input. So pick that one, and these are where your engineering units would be. So the MI values, depending on the bit resolution of that device, would go here. The minimum at 4 milliamps, it's going to give us a value of 205. And at 20 milliamps, it's going to give us this value of 1024. But we want to display that as a 0 to 100% in this numeric box. So this is where we set the engineering units. So we do that for all 3. So that was MI 1. The first one's MI 0. This is MI 1. The next one's MI 2. Yep. And then the last thing, we want a graphic. So tank graphics are down here. Shows up tank graphic, and when I select that, I come over and draw the tank, and we configure it. So take these that are already configured. That's where we just looked at, and this was the minimum level of 4 and the max at 20. These are not in engineering units; they're on the units from the MI units. So you just have to set those up correctly to make the fill bar look correct. And this is which tag you're tying it to. This again 0, 1, 2, 3. Select them from this pull down. So that's pretty much it. Is all there is to building the display. And then you want to load it over. You want to download it to the V570. So you say download. If bear in mind, if you just say download only, it will download it, it'll work, but you're unable to upload this. So you would have to have a copy on your computer already. So if you want to download all and burn, it'll download it and it will burn it to the EEPROM. So in the future, if you didn't have the program on your computer, you could just go out and pull this directly from the V570 and it would allow you to pull it. If you don't do download all burn, you try to pull it, it won't allow you to pull it. It's not unable to do it. It compiles it, but it doesn't make it where you can upload. That's pretty much it. Let's see. So in this one, we're looking at the V570. If I turn around and look at the back, there's a model number on here, and this will tell us how we need to. We can pull a spec sheet that'll show us how to wire this one. And so we're going to pay attention to this jumper, and this is just going to 0 volt, the orange wire. This is coming from the device. This is coming from the transmitter, the black wire, but it does jumper from current in and also the voltage. And we can pull that up on the sheet. So if I move this one back out of the way, from that model number, this was the IO snap on the back was a V218E1B. And the newer ones will be different, so you'll pull up the corresponding sheet. But this older one that's on our demo, I believe it's on page 7. It shows the jumper, which is a little unique. So these are the current ends. There's the 24 volt transformer, so the COM is hooked to 0 volt, and this is going out to the transmitter, coming back in to current like you would expect for 4 to 20, but it also has a jumper. So the yellow wire jumper that jumpers to the voltage pin on the V200, which is a little unique. And same way you can see it on this one in the 2-wire configuration, same thing. 0 volt goes to 0 volt, so it's the negative side, and the positive is going out through the device and comes back in, lands on current, and jumpers to volt.